Welcome to Washington County Historical Society's Heritage Center on Greeley Street in Stillwater, Minnesota.
All right, Brett and Tom are going to give us a tour of the new Heritage Center.
Yes.
All
And
right.
right now we are in the lobby area of the Heritage Center, which is located right here. And then our first phase of our project took care of all the exhibit halls to the lobby, along with our educational center. And so we're going to start now with a view of the exhibit hall number 1, which will be showcasing John Runks, the photographer. So
All right.
come around here.
Okay.
And here it looks pretty empty, which it is. But what we're going to put in here is the information about the very famous photographer of Stillwater named John Rook. John Rook was a professional photographer in Stillwater from 1899 till he died in 1964. Plus, he collected photos, and his collection spans more than 100 years. We're going to show in this gallery how he created such a collection, how he did it, where he got his photos from, and through his curious mind, how he took those photos. If you come on through here, you can see an illustration that shows what the exhibit's going to look like. We'll have one of his signs hanging from the ceiling. We'll have a display case full of his inventions and his cameras, and a lot of his photographs, which number well over 4,000 images.
All right.
Now, if you follow this way, we have this little area tucked in here, which will show off John Runks, not his photographs, but his 8mm films. We received a collection of more than 45 canisters of 8mm films that John Runks took in the late 1940s. And we'll be showing those, and people can come and sit on a bench and take a trip back into time to see what Stillwater and the St. Croix Valley looked like through the eyes of John Runks, the photographer.
We are now entering into exhibit hall number 2, which is going to be a comparison and contrast of fashions of the 1860s and the 1960s. Both the John Runks and the fashions are being designed by a very respectable and renowned organization called Blue Stem. And they have been doing a lot of good exhibits throughout the county area. And so this the exhibit hall number 2 that Blue Stem is designing with the contrast is going to show those fashions to include an authentic Civil War frock jacket worn by Captain Robertson, who lived in the Stillwater area. To contrast it, we have a Vietnam War captain's jacket worn by Buzz Kriesel, a local individual that went through the Army and graduated from West Point. So we're going to go on to exhibit hall number 3.
Here's where you can see an etching of this corner for the fashions exhibit. Now coming into exhibit gallery number 3 is this is the largest gallery we have. And this is going to be one of the mainstay exhibits we're going to have for the next couple decades. It is going to be about the lumbering industry in Washington County. We call it from the woods to the world because lumberjacks would go up in the woods, cut down the trees. They would be milled into lumber in Stillwater or somewhere along the St. Croix, and then that lumber would go and disperse throughout the world. It gives you kind of a walkthrough of how lumbering actually worked. As you enter into the exhibit, you're going to be in the woods. There are going to be lumberjacks cutting down the trees, felling the trees, marking the trees. They're going to be on big sleds that are going to take you right to the riverbank. And the next section, those big logs will go into the water, float down the St. Croix River to the St. Croix boom site. At the boom site, they'll be sorted, put into rafts, and floated down to the main mill. Now, the mill might be in Stillwater. It could be in Bayport. It could actually even be down in Point Douglas or St. Louis, Missouri. They went as far down as St. Louis. But then they get to the mill, which will be over here. They will saw those logs into boards, getting ready to build the houses, the businesses of the entire Midwest. And then we'll show you where all that lumber had gone. And the end of the exhibit is going to be lumber legacies. What kind of legacies did that lumber business continue on to today? From lumberjack days in Stillwater? Maybe there's the old homes that are bought and sold that are still filled with those pine boards that were milled in Stillwater or elsewhere. It leaves the legacy, and the very last thing before people get to leave is to learn about the environmental impacts that logging had done and what it still does today on our environment. So that is it's going to be a very interesting, hands-on exhibit for people young and old. We're very excited about it.
One of the things we found out about as we were doing the research, as Brent was saying, that the lumber went throughout the world, and it's a story I like to tell, is if you go into Honolulu, Hawaii, to the Bishop Museum, you will come across the millwork that was done for the doorways, the railings, the cabinets. All that millwork was done here in Stillwater. They shipped the lumber from Hawaii to Stillwater to be milled, and then a group of individuals went back to the Bishop Museum to put it into place. So now we're going to go back from exhibit hall number 3 to our education center. Center is straight ahead, and we're going to be using this as a place where as students come in from the local elementary schools or across the state, we'll be able to come in here and then start learning about some of the great interesting stories about Washington County and how we have such a rich history, not just in the lumber industry, but as you can see with the fashions or also the photography that was done by John Rump. And this is going to be a classroom that will have places for over 30 students to be able to listen and understand some of these great things that have taken place. And then the last place that we have is our atrium or our lobby. Our lobby is going to end up being a short-term exhibit hall where we are going to start with exhibits on black baseball, and then over here on the other side behind is going to be on the indigenous people of Minnesota and some of their artwork that they've had.
Over that way? All right.
We're also very lucky to have enough space that we are inviting other historic organizations from Washington County to be a part of this on a rotating basis. And in this corner right here, under the exit sign, we will be able to have the Woodbury Heritage Society come in and make a display to tell us about their organization and the community in which they live. They will be here for 8, 10, 12 months, and we will bring in another organization, either from Scandia or from Cottage Grove, Matamidi, wherever, so that they can use this spot to tell about their local history and who they are.
And then that completes the tour of the Washington County Historical Society's Heritage Center, which we hope to open up in about October of this year. with, provided that the COVID restrictions and all those items are lifted so that we can have a facility that people can come in and enjoy.
All right, thank you both.
If you are interested in coming to the Washington County Heritage Center and you want a tour, just contact the Washington County Historical Society and we can schedule a time. Now, this is only phase 1 of this project. We have to raise $5 million for the total completed project, but we're doing phase 1, which is only $2 million. And we're lucky that there's a lot of foundations, individuals that have helped us get this far. If you would like to donate, just go to our website at www.wchsmn.org and click on that donation button, and it'll walk you right through on how you can donate. So if you do want to come and take a look out here, just give us a call at the Washington County Historical Society.